found a side quest.
Hello everyone, Alec Elger, the Side Quest Gamer here, and oh, it's a windy and sunny day, so what better way to spend it than staying inside and playing a stupid, well-crafted fan game.
Hey, this fan game is actually very polished and impressive. It's built off a joke.
Oh, look who's here everyone! Mr. Innocent Christoph Gavin, YouTube's Ace Attorney Noda, who thinks he can just invade my live action segments. Perhaps you'd like to join me, rude sir?
I have nothing better to do. Why not?
Well folks, with my good friend Innocent Christoph Gavin here, would you say this is a big collaboration review?
Just stop.
Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game about a blue hedgehog who is fast and does platforming. It was successful not once, not twice, but 3 times on the Sega Genesis.
But Sonic fans were craving a new installment that wasn't a spin-off. Something that felt like an evolution of the Sonic formula. Something more three-dimensional. That would take advantage of the Super Effects chip to produce actual 3D avatars.
Dang it, Gavin. But that wouldn't happen until 1998 when the Sega Dreamcast saw the release of Sonic Adventure. Forget Sonic 3D Blast, this was the true 3D Sonic game that fans were all craving.
You got to play as not just Sonic, but Amy the Echidna from Sonic CD, the familiar Tails and to Knuckles, and 2 new characters, E101 Gamma, and the most famous character of all being, Big the Cat!
I can't tell you how much fun it is to fish in those few levels. Everyone I knew who played this game as a kid couldn't get enough of Big the Cat stages, declaring him to be the best part of the entire game. I mean, take a platforming series known for speed in this new and bold direction and have fishing involved to break up the excitement of those speed stages? Who wouldn't want to fish in this game? Why can't we just have a game that's all about the fishing and less about the speed?
Alec, there's Sega Bass Fishing that you could easily get on Steam.
Shut up! I'm trying to do a segue. Your line next.
But because these frickin' morons at Sega would make this dream come true, Sonic fans would have to take it upon themselves to make a Sonic game that has none of those fast, speedy stages that the series was known for sucking at doing. Good thing too, because that's just too distracting for the real meat and potatoes that were Big's fishing stages.
Sonic Retro Forum member by the name of Flamewing developed this ROM hack known as Big's Fishing Derby, a ROM hack based off the idea of translating the 3D fishing stages from Sonic Adventure while applying them in a 2D style. How would that work? Well, let's find out.
The game begins with the usual Sega logo, except Big the Cat says it.
Sega!
And then we arrive at the title screen that clearly has a Sega Genesis style remix of Lazy Days. Alrighty, the game is true to the character of Big the Cat that we've seen in Sonic Adventure. Beyond that, we get to choose between single-player, competitive multiplayer, the controls, and the music menu.
For this review, we'll mainly focus on the single-player aspect of this game. You have 3 options to choose from in single-player: Time Attack, Arcade, and Zen modes. Time Attack has you playing through all of the levels in under 10 minutes. Arcade mode is less demanding since you're given 5 minutes for each stage, but there are boss battles, and Zen mode is just you playing through all of the levels with no pressure, as the description cleverly states.
Whatever mode you select, it begins with a frog hopping into a warp ring and later being found by Big the Cat. The goal of each stage is to fish out Froggy, but while reeling in Froggy, you have to have the captured frog avoid touching the enemies. It may sound tricky, but you can fish out the badnik enemies out of the water to make more space for reeling out the frog. You can gain power-ups this way too, but there's one of Robotnik's contraptions in the center that keeps spawning out replacement badniks, so fish out Froggy quickly before that happens.
It's a relatively simple game and it only takes 10 minutes to beat the Zen and Time Attack modes, but I do feel that it's a little too simple for its own good, even when comparing it to the Sonic Adventure's fishing stages. I'm not saying it's bad, in fact I had a relatively fun time with this ROM hack, but Sonic Adventure's fishing stages had consequences involved which enhanced the experience. Like if you reeled too much, you would likely lose your catch. Not only that, but you also had to maneuver your line a certain way when reeling in Froggy, or you'd lose him. Catching Froggy in this game is as simple as dropping your hook into the water, wait for Froggy to make contact with the fish hook, you caught him, now reel him in. That's it, and something I thought the source material did a lot better. While fishing in Sonic Adventure wasn't anything spectacular for its genre, it was more complex and, dare I say, rewarding than fishing in this game.
Well, it isn't easy to translate a concept that works best in 3D and put it in a 2D space. From what I played, even though it doesn't hold a candle to fan games such as Sonic Before and After the sequel, it really didn't need to. It was a simple fan game that paid tribute to Big's playstyle in Sonic Adventure, in addition to being a tribute of the Genesis Sonic games. Not only did it pay tribute, but it functioned as a game in its own right. So for the price of admission, which is free, it accomplished being a worthwhile experience despite its simplicity.
Understandable. But of all the single player modes, I do think that Zen mode is alright, but Time Attack is where it's at because since you have 10 minutes to beat the entire mode, an otherwise easy game became a race against time, therefore compelling the player to fish quickly through all of the levels. I like this kind of challenge, especially since there isn't much in terms of challenge otherwise. But I really don't care for arcade mode for one reason. The boss battles are trash. Yes, there are boss battles, and all they amount to is fishing an enemy and either getting a ring or power up like the bomb, speed shoes, or temporary invincibility. Problem is, it's random as to which enemies have an offensive weapon, which makes these battles more of a game of chance rather than skill, which I don't think is good boss design. I mean, why couldn't we fish an enemy and pull it towards the enemy's mouth to damage it? That'd be a lot better than hoping that you'd fish out a bomb attack and are somehow lucky enough to defeat it. These bosses rob me of my lives, and not for the right reasons. They are only hard because of chance, and that is just cheap. There is no skill involved, it's just random.
Regardless of what you think of that one mode, there are many things beyond the gameplay that just gives this game the right to pay tribute to the classics. The graphics are near identical to that of the Sega Genesis titles, with set pieces representing the well-known levels of every zone in the 3 games. But an interesting thing to note is that there are also 16-bit graphical recreations of the 8-bit games, which is great if you're like Alec, who really enjoys those games for some reason.
What can I say? They're solid platformers.
Same can be said for the music. A lot of the well-known Sonic pieces like your Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Angel Island, and Doomsday Zone are ripped from their respective games as they should sound, and they sound just as good as they did. But I'm glad they also remixed the 8-bit Sonic pieces such as Bridge Zone from the 8-bit Sonic 1, and even a downgrade but still surprisingly pleasant Sonic CD soundtrack, such as Japanese Good Future Collision Chaos. A lot of effort really went into the soundtrack when it came to remixing non-Sega Genesis Sonic pieces.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Gavin. Despite some of my reservations against this game, it definitely is very charming. I can't confirm if this is a good entry point for someone who's never played a Sonic game in their lives. As I always say, a good game has to be a good game for everyone. But due to only a fraction of Sonic fans knowing about this fan game, it's clear that it is only meant for Sonic fans, as I do get invested searching for little Easter eggs like Tails' submarine from Sonic Triple Trouble floating about in the Sonic 2 8-bit stage. I mean, the nerd in me is like, he didn't have that submarine in 8-bit Sonic 2. But at the same time, it made me smile a little bit since that Sonic Triple Trouble was getting any representation at all. And hearing Bridge Zone's Genesis version in its respective level made me excited because, wow, I love that theme so much.
For a game about a stupid giant purple cat trying to rescue his friend Froggy, it could have been a lot worse. But from what I've analyzed, I believe that it's a polished, well-made game with a clear objective of what it wanted to do, and it did it. And the player doesn't just go home empty-handed. After catching Froggy in every one of the classic Sonic stages, and getting a Chaos Emerald in each of those stages, it's pretty epic seeing Froggy turn into Super Froggy with all of the Chaos Emeralds, destroying the enemy spawner mechanism from the inside. That is victory, folks. So yeah, I would definitely recommend playing it for yourself.
As for me, I find it to be an overall very mediocre title. As a game in its own right, it's just too simple at times. I doubt anyone would buy this if it were a retail release, but as an average experience that's free on the internet, it's short and worth a playthrough, especially if you're a Sonic fan who wish that Sega would give Big the Cat his own game since he was the best character in Sonic Adventure, and anyone who disagrees is completely wrong. But until Sega officially makes that dream a reality, thank you all so much for watching, and April Fools! Hey folks, if you reached this point of the video, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out Innocent Christoph Gavin's epic Sonic Marathon finale, being one of the more divisive titles in the series, Sonic Adventure. Yes, everyone and their brother has reviewed that game, but perhaps you'd like a new, different perspective on that game. Have a great April Fool's Day, everyone!